Welcome to the Sent from Disneyland podcast.
Here age relives fond memories of the past.
If it's your first time joining us, welcome. On this podcast, we'll take a journey into the past and explore Disneyland and Disneyland history with mementos, snapshots, and postcards sent from Disneyland from 1955 to the present. The postcards from this episode will be viewable on Instagram at Sent from Disneyland or on my website, sentfromdisneyland.com. Today I'm starting off by thanking my patrons from patreon.com. You can join in and receive mail from my desk or for my trips to Disneyland. I'm currently working on some new patron benefits. Patrons can sign up for as little as $1 per month. Special thanks to Random Olive, the first patron to this podcast, and to the e-ticket patrons Tania, Eric Daniels, Monica Seitz Vega, Joe Gamble, Scott Booker, Russ Romano, and Michael and Christina Cross. C-ticket patrons Serious Inquiries Only, Debbie Weinstein, Jennifer Schneep, Ruby McDowell, Grace Coate, Scott Cagle, Ben and Noel Bruning, and Mary Henderson. B-ticket patron The Disney Rewind Podcast, and to the A-ticket patrons Elise Sharp, Zealot Infinity, Claire Voigtlander, Alexis Robles, Maggie and Henry Byers, Angelica Nablock, The All Aboard Podcast, and Ana Fiches de Lectores. I am your host, your post-host Clocky, and today we have 2 postcards sent from Disneyland. The front of our first postcard has the Congo Queen Jungle Cruise boat, passing some crocodiles. In the distance, near the bank of the river, you can see a rhinoceros. On the back it reads, "The explorer's boat in Adventureland nears dangerous waters as lifelike crocodiles approach and hippos lurk just around the bend in Disneyland's Rivers of the World." It's postmarked October 22nd, 1956, with a Pasadena cancel and 2 2-cent red Jefferson postage stamps. Scott number 1033. I assume they visited the park on Sunday, October 21st, when park hours were from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. The weather was a high of 87, a low of 53. Park attendance that day was 15,247. It's addressed to a Mr. Lee Follett of Amherst, Massachusetts. It reads, "Lee dear, as you can see, we really get around. May Dad take me Sunday. There's so much to see here, though. It would be better to stay shorter time and go more. Hope you had fun in New York. Glad Evan is okay. Love, Mom." Based on when this postcard was sent from Disneyland, Lee's mom would have been able to ride the infamous Phantom boats. The Phantom boats were added to Tomorrowland in mid-August 1955. The attraction was located next to the Tomorrowland Autopia, near where the submarine voyage entrance is now. The boats had a unique design, with what looked like bat wings or shark fins standing up on either side of the back of the boat. The shell of the boat was made with fiberglass, with an outboard motor placed inboard and covered. This was one of the major problems with the attraction. The motor was meant to be air-cooled, but could not get sufficiently cooled inside the boat's fiberglass shell. Guests would be stranded in what was known as the Tomorrowland Lake with a stalled engine. This attraction was trackless, so the 14 Phantom boats could go out in any direction and would have to be pushed back by another boat or wait for the engine to cool and start up again. Eventually, the boats were piloted by a cast member who were trained to keep the boats from overheating. The Phantom boats initially closed at the end of 1955. Plans were made to have a new attraction in Tomorrowland Lake. A large billboard was placed in front of the attraction announcing an airboat ride. This pontoon-style attraction was built to hold 14 guests and would cruise around the lake at high speeds. It was built and tested in Newport Bay. Although it was brought to the park, it was deemed too dangerous because of how close guests were to the boat's propeller. The airboat stayed backstage and cast members used it as a dining area. In anticipation of a busy summer, the Phantom boats became the first attraction to be resurrected and ran from June 1956 until around October 1956. Another fun fact about this postcard is that it was sent to Amherst College's Delta Upsilon fraternity house. Although the Amherst chapter has gone inactive since 1971, I learned that Disney's ex-CEO, Michael Eisner, is a member of the fraternity from the Denison University chapter. Good thing February is a short month. It means March is just around the corner, and Enfield Post will be back open on Etsy. Once February ends, you can head over to Etsy and explore all the different vintage stamps you can use on your next card or letter. That's ENFIELDPOST on Etsy and Instagram for your wedding and vintage postage needs. Enfield Post is the official postage stamp sponsor of the Sent from Disneyland podcast. The front of our next postcard has 4 motorboats with guests steering them around rocks and under the monorail track. In the background, you can see monorail red passing the trees and bushes on the shore nearby. On the back it reads, "Motorboats, monorails. Guests pilot their own boats through whitewater rapids and rock-filled currents on this winding, swiftly moving stream on the lake in the Fantasyland area. The Disneyland all-way monorail system train races along a concrete highway in the sky in the background." It's postmarked January 10, 1965, with a Long Beach cancel and a 4-cent purple Lincoln postage stamp, Scott number 1036. I assume they visit the park on Saturday, January 9th, when park hours were from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. The weather was a high of 67 and a low of 37. Park attendance that day was 13,941. It's addressed to a Mrs. Jensine Hoffman of Sebastopol, California. It reads, January 9th, 1965. Long Beach. Dear Mother, we are now staying at the best trailer park in Long Beach. We will be here until Wednesday. Then we leave for San Diego or Imperial Beach. We will stay there for a month or so. We will send our address as soon as we get to a trailer park. Hope you are fine. The weather has been nice here. Love, Sam and Helga. The motorboat cruise on the front of this postcard, which Sam and Helga might have enjoyed, sort of replaced the Phantom boats. This new attraction was placed in Fantasyland in June of 1957 and included new boats with motors that were less likely to overheat. The initial problems with these boats were caused by operator error. Although the boats were on a track, if one of the boats did stall or slow down due to poor steering, this would cause a small traffic jam on the waterway. Some cast members would jump into the water and push the stalled boats along or quickly fix the boat's problem. Sometimes the boats were close enough, and a cast member could use a pole and then pull the boat into the dock. Looking at some photos of the boats, they all had Disney names either on the stern or on both sides of the bow. Some of these names included Alice, Shaggy Dog, Snow White, Daisy Duck, Minnie Mouse, Feline, Flora, and Fauna. In 1991, the motorboat cruise was given a gummy bear overlay to promote the Disney afternoon television show. This lasted until 1993 when the attraction was closed for good. The attraction loading area and queue is now a dining area across from the Matterhorn. This incoming postcard is sponsored by the Art Throwdown. Art Throwdown, or ATD, is an online craft hour on Instagram, starting at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific. I missed Monday's ATD, hosted by paper artist Russ Romano, so I'll have to catch it on one of his saved stories. I did see Kristen putting art on an envelope celebrating Black History Month. Each host brings something a little different to each show. I'll list some of the regular hosts, or you can follow Russ Romano 2021 on Instagram. The front of my incoming postcard has Chip and Dale eating popcorn, with Donald, Goofy, Minnie, Mickey, and Pluto standing in front of some iconic Disneyland and Disney California Adventure landmarks. It's postmarked January 26, 2022, with a Santa Ana cancel and an American flag forever postage stamp, Scott number 5345. It reads, January 24, 2022. Alexis and I are having a great time here. We have done a lot of attractions. Of course, my favorite, Guardians of the Galaxy. Alexis liked an Incredible Coaster. Chinese New Year is happening now. One more day, then home. Take care, Sharon and Alexis. Thank you so much for the postcard. I'm sad that my last trip was too early to experience the Lunar New Year Festival. During my last trip, I did get to see some trucks driving by my hotel with the deconstructed archways, which are currently up in Disney California Adventure. I've received a lot of postcards over the last few weeks. I chose this postcard for 2 reasons. First, because it's from my aunt who's having a birthday this weekend, and second, because I think it's awesome that my family is slowly starting to send more mail. One of the things I noticed while looking up this stamp is that there is a microprint on the stamp. If you look closely on the right-hand side of the stamp, written in small black letters next to the third stripe from the bottom are the letters USPS. Thanks for listening to Sent from Disneyland. If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe and tell your friends. It would be awesome to share your favorite episode. There are over 100 episodes to choose from. It would also help to leave a 5-star rating and comment at whatever podcast platform you use. If you'd like to support the show financially, please check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/SentFromDisneyland. You can find me on Instagram and Facebook at Sent From Disneyland, or on Twitter at Sent From Disney. For questions and comments, send me a postcard addressed to Sent From Disneyland, P.O. Box 44, Hood, California, 95639. This podcast is not affiliated with Disney, the United States Postal Service, or any post office or Disney properties. Opinions expressed on this podcast belong to its host and guests of the Sent from Disneyland podcast.
If you're looking for me, I'm right over here. No, over here. I'm in the computer. Here on the desk. Good. Hello.